Okay, so in this video today, what are we talking about? We're talking about how YouTube supposedly is on easy mode for small creators. And there's different methods that you can use right now to kind of blow up your channel, meet the requirements for the number of subscribers and the watch time hours. And so, what I'm going to talk about today is some of the things that I've found in my research. Not only am I getting tips from small YouTube creators, but I'm also doing my own deep dive into YouTube and finding tips from other creators that have been around for a while. So, first thing I want to do though is I want to shout out two small creators who are really motivating me to be consistent with this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to post one video that's talking about like YouTube and try and get YouTube to push my content out. The other video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what I specialize in, which is finances. So I have my own financial services business and I work with clients. I work with my own clients and I help them with things like debt, getting out of debt, figuring out how to get a retirement plan in action. If my clients are parents, depending on the age of their children, I help them set up what we call a child wealth plan for their kids. I'm in Canada, so there's one product that is heavily marketed for like the last 30 years, but it turns out that that product has some drawbacks and limitations and is not as powerful as another product that is not marketed at all. So if someone doesn't expose you to the information, then you probably won't know. And parents need to be aware that there's a better alternative. And it's not to say that they can eliminate one and focus on the other. Maybe if they have the resources, they can do both. But the point being is that they don't even know that there is another option available to them. So that's one of the things that I do, educate them in that area. And also too, we work with like people who are gonna buy a home or already have a home. There's like strategies that I can help people out with. HELOCs here in Canada. Back in the day, we used to be able to only have to put down 5%, and then we could actually get a HELOC right away when we bought a home. Now they changed that rule, so we actually have to put down 20%. But many homeowners or people that are going to buy a home for their first time, they don't know that they can actually leverage HELOCs. And HELOCs are actually allow you to pay off your home much faster, like a third of the time that a traditional mortgage. And traditional mortgages are front end loaded. What that means is that for the first few years, like between 5 and 10 years, all of your mortgage payments, almost all of it, are going towards the interest. So they're what we call front end loaded. So the banks don't be able to leverage HELOCs because mortgages use compound interest, whereas HELOCs use simple interest. And I won't go into the whole specifics of that. I plan on doing that in another video. It will be posted on my channel because my channel is supposed to be all around finance related content. But just to put it out there, that's what I help people with, among other things. So there's many other things that I help people out with. So I'm really passionate about helping people with their financial challenges. And I was introduced to this industry because like a number of years back, around 2017, 2018, I was working for this company and I was heading up the marketing department and my income jumped into like the high six figures. And right away, automatically, I was like, oh crap, I'm going to have to pay way more taxes. Is there a way for me to like minimize this or alleviate or reduce the amount of taxes? And so someone in the finance industry reached out to me through a friend of mine who has a marketing firm, and she referred him to me, and it was perfect timing. Like, I don't know, call it the universe, God, whatever. this person contacted me at the right time. Like I was actually looking for his help, and he was able to help me out and introduce me to the industry. And he was like, if you want an extra income source, there's a way for you to make some money with this. And I've always had like side projects. I've been a freelancer. I have a history building websites and stuff like that. And my background is design and marketing. So, I can build a website, I can do print design stuff, all of that. I have that knowledge. And so I've always had like some sort of freelance, or some people call it side hustle. I don't really like that term, but some way to make extra income, because cost of living keeps increasing. And unless you hit the lottery like me and end up getting a job that ends up boosting you from like, middle class income or whatever regular income is, around 50,000, 60,000, to then you jump up to like well over 100,000, then, and pushes you into a higher tax bracket, then, you're probably not going to want to seek out help to solve certain problems, right? Because you don't even know that these problems exist in most cases. So when he contacted me, he helped me solve my problem, and he let me know that there's an opportunity for me to make some extra income. I was working crazy hours. Like I'm talking like beyond 9 to 5, okay? Because I was heading up a team. There was like, I was managing like 16 other people besides myself. And our company was sponsoring all of these events. And I was the one who was coordinating for all of those events. And let's just say I didn't have any life outside of work for the 2 years that I was working at this company. So anyways, back to what I was talking about. I have a passion for helping people, and finances. I found this out later on in life. Although I worked in the finance industry in the past at 2 different banks, I'm not working in the same capacity in finance as I did back then. But I do really enjoy helping people with their finances. And, so basically, if you're, I just want to throw this in there. If you are looking for something to do in an industry that has unlimited earning potential, consider finance. Reach out to me. We can discuss it. I am looking for partners in Canada and the US. So those are the only countries that I can work in at this time, unfortunately. The great thing is I do work 100% remotely, thanks to that global event that impacted many people. I was one of the people that were impacted. I am able to work from anywhere in the world. So that's a great thing. And so where was I? So yeah, if you're looking for a way to make some extra income and YouTube is not kind of working for you just yet, because YouTube takes some time, much like everything does. You got to put in the repetition, you got to be consistent, and then eventually something will hit, and you'll have a home run and things will just explode. But you got to lay the proper foundation, right? So right now, I'm a small creator. I'm following advice from other small creators, as well as I'm doing some of my own research. I do have a marketing background, so I understand that sometimes when you want to produce a certain outcome, you got to do the research, and then you got to plan it out, right? So right now, we're in the first month of the year, the new year. I'm sticking to this plan of consistently attacking this trend that seems to be blowing up a lot of small creators, where they're following this copy paste formula, copying titles that seem to be working well, not doing any sort of editing, just doing raw footage. I'm recording from two different angles right now, my phone and my laptop at the same time. I may edit this together, but I might not have to because I just found out through researching that I can actually record both on my audio and my computer at the same time and use the one microphone. So in my last video, what I had to do, I had to actually edit the two content videos together because the audio that was coming through my phone sounded a lot different because it was picking up from the microphone in the phone. And I actually have a professional mic here on my computer, a Rode microphone that I've been using for a number of years when I tried to do some YouTube content a few years back, and that fell through the cracks because it's very hard. It was very hard to do production level type content and get people to actually commit to a schedule and help me out, right? So I convinced a few people in the office that I was working at, and this was in the finance industry, to go out with me, do interviews. We were interviewing people at the beach and stuff like that. I live very close to the beach where I live, and a few other areas. And yeah, it was working. Like, so we were getting our foot in the door, setting appointments with people, and asking them questions, really basic questions to know what they knew, to find out what they knew about how money works. And the concept was I'd ask 5 questions, me or the person that was there with me. They would ask 5 questions. If they got all 5 questions correct, we would give them a gift card to like Starbucks or some other thing. So, you know, I invested money for giveaways and stuff like that. I bought a whole bunch of gift cards and gave it to the people who got all 5 questions correct. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people did not get all 5 questions correct because we are not taught about finances in school. We're not taught about it in elementary school, even the basics. In high school, maybe we'll have an economics class. Maybe. Depends on your curriculum. Maybe in college, maybe in university, if you take some economics or maybe business management or something like that, you'll learn some of the basics. But there's a reason why in North America, specifically Canada and the US, there's such a low literacy rate for finances. It's not taught, and there's a reason for that. So I don't want to go in this video into the whole history of why the education system was designed, who designed it, and what the purpose of it was. But basically, in order for the wealthy people to stay at the top, they need people to do the work, and they pay them just enough for them to survive, but because they don't have the knowledge, they typically do not thrive. Okay, so my goal and my mission is to help actually not even a lot of people. To be honest with you, I only need about 44 clients for me to be successful. I need 6 partners and about 44 clients of my own for me to be like wildly successful. And when I talk about successful, I'm talking about like $500,000 a year in income annually, like ongoing, with 44 clients and 6 partners, if I can find 6 partners, right? So it's doable. Why do I know that it's doable? Because I headed up marketing. I've worked in marketing for like close to 2 decades now. And I've seen YouTube is a new platform for me. It's a new challenge, right? But I know I'll crack the code. Why? Because I've cracked the code in other spaces. I've cracked the code on Facebook. I've cracked the code on Google. I'm talking about like search, running ads. So I have a lot of experience doing affiliate marketing. So, you know, I've had successes in those spaces and grew a company from a couple million a year to like just under 6 million and in less than a year, in like a 9-month period. So I know how to, I know certain things based on the experience that I've had over the last 20 years working in marketing. Okay, so a lot of the principles can be applied in many different industries. I've worked at agencies and I've helped businesses from like carpet cleaners to law firms to real estate companies, all of that stuff, right? So it is doable. And there's two ways. You can either do it like I'm doing on YouTube, creating content. We call this organic, right? There's two modes. You can do organic content or you can do paid. If you've got the budget and you want to run ads, then that's kind of like the shortcut. But even that requires planning and testing, and you need a budget to figure out what works. Okay, so with my marketing experience, I'm applying what I've learned over to the finance side. And so for this next 30 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on this trend of following the small content creator roadmap. That is the copy paste. I'm using tools like vidIQ. Right now I'm testing that out. I've had vidIQ installed before in the past, but I never really took it seriously. But I found out that it has like really, really good research tools in there. And I'm able to see competitor metrics. I can see the metrics on how other people's small creators videos are doing. So I can take some of their content ideas and transition it. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to relate the things that I talk about on YouTube to finances. And even while I'm doing this push to reach the subscriber requirements and the watch time hours in the next 30 days, and the goal is to get monetized in that 30-day period, I want to also talk about and relate this journey to finances. Okay, so I'm finding very interesting ways to put my stories that I want to tell together. I will be sharing client stories and things like that, client wins, even topics of discussion with meetings that didn't go anywhere. And some meetings with clients, they're like, okay, you know what, I'm not ready to move forward with this, but it was great that we met. You opened my eyes to a whole bunch of things that I didn't know. I'm going to give it some thought and let's revisit in 6 months. The point is to start the conversation, right? Not everyone is on the same journey and not everyone moves through their journey at the same pace, right? So I had a meeting with a client like last week, with a potential client last week. He reached out to me on LinkedIn. We had a discussion. I actually met with him and a couple of my senior partners in the team that I work with. And he ultimately decided that he needs to figure out some stuff because he's kind of all over the place. He needs to figure out what's the top priority. And then he wants to revisit some of the stuff that we had talked to him about in a 6 months time. So I will revisit him. I'll reach out to him in 6 months time. I already set a calendar reminder to reach out to him at that time. But yeah, the point being is that I am going to talk about finances, share some of the knowledge and things that I've learned, even things that I didn't know 10 years ago, right? So, and I'll also share my experience on from the perspective of working in 2 different banks and now working in the finance industry in a different capacity. And I'm licensed, whereas before, when I was working in the banks, I was working as a teller. I worked in the credit card department, and then there was like this management trainee program that I briefly participated in, and that was different, right? But even that perspective and seeing what products the banks try to really market and push out to people is totally different than what I'm doing now in this space that I'm in. We're really focused on educating people, showing them their options, and not really selling them anything, right? People just end up taking our recommendations because they weren't aware that things existed. And from the bank's perspective, typically you're not going to get the same type of help and advice unless you've got a certain net worth. At a minimum, the bottom is like 250,000. Typically though, unless you have like $500,000, they're not going to really give you the time of day, right? Now that could have changed, because there's only so many people with like a high net worth, right? And there's a lot of banks competing for all of those people's business. So, they might have lowered their threshold or whatever. But you and I know that the income disparity is growing. That like middle class is shrinking. There's a whole bunch of stats to prove all of this stuff, right? The middle class is shrinking, and the wealth disparity, the wealth gap is just widening. The wealthy people are just getting crazy more wealthy, right? And the people like myself and other people who are trying to climb their way up to the higher echelons of financial freedom and wealth and build wealth for ourselves and for our families, it's hard because certain industries, they don't give high raises, right? And how often do you get a raise? Is your raise keeping up with or surpassing inflation? Probably not, right? So these are all things and challenges that we have to deal with. We went through that whole lockdown period. How many people were affected by that? Millions, right? There was mass job layoffs during that time period. Like, what happens to all of those people, right? So, these are some of the things that I'm trying to work to combat in the space that I'm in right now. So you're gonna notice in my videos that I post, I'm gonna jump back between like YouTube stuff, marketing, and finance, only because marketing and finance, my background's marketing. I'm not actually working in a marketing capacity right now, although I still do work with freelance clients from time to time and do website projects for certain people through a friend of mine who needs my help sometimes, and she throws business my way or contacts me to help her out. She doesn't really throw the business my way, but she contacts me to help her out with certain things. And yeah, so I'm going to be talking about like marketing stuff. I'm going to be talking about finance stuff. But my goal is to, when I'm talking about these YouTube videos, even if I go off on a tangent, it's always going to be kind of like based around YouTube and strategies to try and grow. So this is not only to chronicle my journey, but it's also to, in a year from now, that I can look back and see where I was, how I was able to manage to grow the channel, grow my subscribers. My format changed. Maybe I'll get more production value involved, have a budget that I can pay for an editor and things like that. But all of that will come in time. So for now, the takeaway that I want you to take away from this video is, if you're starting out or you're a smaller YouTube creator, you don't have to listen to me. Look at some of the other smaller YouTube creators. So in this video, I'm going to shout out two small creators. One in particular who his videos showed up on my YouTube feed, and he inspired me to actually like get over my fear and just post, because I guess what people seem to be craving more of is authenticity, right? And so I have knowledge, I have information to share, and and I just want to help people. So money is always a byproduct. So I don't lead with money. I don't lead with trying to sell you anything. Although I do have stuff to sell, but that's not the goal. So I want to try and help you and lead you down a path to better your life, better your family's life, and family, friends, and those people that you care about, right? So that's always going to be the focus of my content that I produce. But I want to shout out Dante London, right? And I'm going to tag him in this video because his videos like lit a fire under my butt. Okay, so big ups to him for that. and his fiance, soon to be wife. Like I've been watching, and I subscribe to her channel too. I've been watching. They're inspirational. And then the new one that I just saw, she had subscribed to my channel, and when I checked out her channel, I started going through her content, and it's kind of like I'm not even gonna do any Prime or Netflix anymore, man. I'm binge watching content on YouTube from now on. Okay, YouTube, if you're listening to this video when it's posted, push me out, okay? Because I'm bigging up your platform, and that's another thing that I'm going to talk about: platforms. Okay, we have this concept in finance that talks about platforms, and I'll go into that more. YouTube is a platform. The downside to YouTube is that you don't own the platform, so at any time you could potentially lose your channel if you do anything that they don't like, right? Or even if people complain, right? You could lose your channel. So in the marketing space, you always need to be trying to, if you build an audience, then you need to get your audience somewhere else that's off of YouTube, unfortunately. So don't hate me for saying that, YouTube, but it's the truth, right? From a business perspective, you need to be able to communicate with your audience off of YouTube. And that's really the asset of any business, right? So your customer base, your database, whatever you want to call it. But so Dante London, number one, shout out. Number two, to Shayla. She went and checked out my video and subscribed. And yeah, and so I just went and binged a whole bunch of her videos. And she's on fire as well too. So I'm going to tag her in this video. But yeah, so look for small YouTube creators, right? See what they're doing, see what they're talking about. Don't bother editing your videos. I'm not even going to worry about editing. Who cares about the ums and all of that stuff? Sometimes I need a minute to think about what's going to come out of my mouth. Sometimes I get, pushed off on a different tangent or whatever. I'm just going to leave it raw and uncut. Okay. And if I get criticized, I get criticized. It doesn't really matter at this point in time. So I've got nothing to lose. I'm trying to grow my business, trying to help people. And I guess the only way to do that, or one of the top ways to do that, and I see a lot of people who are multimillionaires, they're putting out content, right? And so if I'm going to build a brand, right, and I'm the face of the brand, then I have to be fearless about speaking what I know and sharing the knowledge and hopefully providing good information as I'm creating this content. So takeaway, number one, look for small creators, right? Copy and paste their titles, right? Maybe add in a little twist. There was a YouTuber that I watched that he actually had some really good, valuable information. It was sharing his strategy about how he grew his subscribers really quickly, what he did for it, and all of that stuff. Research. Use vidIQ or some other tool that's going to allow you to do some YouTube research specifically. I think they have a trial right now. I'm not an affiliate right now, so check it out on your own time, whatever. I'm not putting any links in the description, none of that stuff, right? One thing I did see is that by saying, I believe I saw this in one video, hit that like button. Not that you have to do it, but apparently if you say that and YouTube detects that you say that in your video, you will see the like button light up. They put a little light around it now. So it's very interesting, some of the things that I'm seeing now. And I'm trying to implement them into my videos as well. So I don't know how long this video is right now, but let me see. Oh, wow. I'm at almost 30 minutes. Wow. Okay, I bet I'm going to end it here. All right. So copy paste, find a title, copy paste, add your twist if you need to. Do some research, take thumbnails or whatever. One thing that I learned too is that you don't need to, while you're starting out, you don't really need to do too much on your thumbnails. You can probably just have one with you as the main focus. They call it the hero, right? The hero of the story. And then you can put a word or some image or whatever on the screen. I think I'm actually going to stick to that. I was going to get very fancy because, like I said, I have a background in design. But I think I'm going to keep things really simple for myself and try and up the production value like later on. So keep it simple, right, is what I would say. And what else? Oh, and yes, engage with people. Go comment because they'll see your channel name. They will go and check out your channel and try and get a community. So yeah. So what I'm trying to do is I sent Dante an email, and I'm probably going to do that to Shayla as well. I haven't seen this yet. I haven't done enough research, but I think it would really be a really good idea if all of these small creators made a community and support one another, right? Instead of saying to hop into the comments and then, comment and then, I mean, that's one way too, because it does boost the engagement and should get you pushed out to more people through the algorithm. So that is one way. But what I was thinking too is that, like, there's a free platform that I found where it allows you to make like a community, and then you can go in there, chat, all of that stuff. If people aren't subscribed to your channel, what you could do inside of the community, and maybe they'll want to do this. I'm happy to set it up. With enough people, and we might have to limit it, we can get everyone monetized, right? So if Shayla had said in one of her videos that apparently, and I have to research this to see if it's true or not, apparently one of the new changes that YouTube made to help small creators is they changed the monetization requirements. Apparently, and don't quote me on this, but supposedly it's now been changed to 500 subscribers, not 1,000, and 3,000 watch time hours, not 4,000. And so that should help more of us get monetized quicker, and then therefore be able to then start making a little bit of money and utilizing YouTube more, because I think that's the goal. YouTube as a business, in order for them to grow, it seems like they're going to have to attract more advertisers, and in order to get more advertisers, they need more content, and not just crappy content, but content that is of quality. And all of us on this journey, we're going to start off probably doing everything all wrong. Our content's not going to be that great. But as we get better at producing content and learning how to craft stories and put things in a format where it actually gives people action steps, and we can share results from people that we're helping and all of that stuff, then the quality is going to go up, right? Look at Mr. Beast for an example. And that's another thing. When you mention certain people, they automatically get tagged in your description. So that's another thing that I noticed as well. You can put their tag in the description as well as in the title, but as far as I know, because YouTube is actually parsing all of the audio from the videos in order to automatically caption your content, and if they detect certain names, they will actually show them in the description as well as a mention, right? This person was mentioned. So that's another tip for you as well there. So I want to end this off because I'm over 30 minutes. I didn't think I would talk for 30 minutes straight, but I'm going to wrap this up. And so if you found this video helpful in any way, check out my next video. I think it's going to be on this side. I'm not too sure. And that's if I have a next video. I'll put it in that end card there, and it'll be on this side. And share your thoughts with me in the comments. Did you learn anything from this video? Was it too long? Should I make it a little bit shorter? Shayla was saying to do 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes. Other people are saying 10 to 15, so the length kind of varies. I think initially when you're starting out, maybe longer is better as long as you're giving enough value. And the reason why is because if people watch it to the end, then that boosts your watch time, right? If you make a short video that's only like 5 minutes, you need more people in order to be able to meet the watch time qualifications. So maybe it's better initially to do longer videos. I have noticed that when I look at big channels, they tend to be like, you know, Mr. Beast, like 30 minutes. And then he even went lower than that, right? So his videos are like 16 to 20 minutes. But then I see other people, like the streamers and stuff like that, doing videos that are like 45 minutes and longer than that. So I don't know what the happy medium is right now, but I'm going to experiment with different video lengths and see what happens. So this one's over 30 minutes. Again, thank you for watching. Share your comments and your thoughts with me down below, and see you in the next one.